Hey y'all, Monk Joseph here with the Broken Buddha. Today on a sunny Sunday here in California. Today I want to talk about a more serious topic. We're going to talk about death and dying. I'm going to make two different videos, one for the Eastern approach, one for the Western approach. So if you don't see what you're looking for here, then go to the other video. But I got to keep them separated for the sake of other people's sensibilities because they may not take the video seriously if I include both. So this is going to be the one on Western death and dying. So my name's Monk Joseph. This is my YouTube channel, and I've experienced more death than most people. That's why I became who I am and why I am who I am. So let's just jump right into it. So it's very important to understand the realities of what you're going to experience, even as a Western-minded person going through life and death. There's some important things that I see that I will state here that you may want to be aware of. We'll just jump right into it. Most people think they want to die drugged down in Western society. And I won't say it's a mistake, but you need to consider some things. Um, One, drugging yourself down does not quiet your consciousness. Anybody who has done hallucinogens or psychonauts, I'm not a psychonaut. I've never done large amounts of hallucinogens. I did some small experimental amounts when I was younger, but closing your eyes does not stop you from experiencing terrible things within your mind. So if you think drugging yourself out is a way not to experience, you know, some type of bad memory or karma or whatever's coming for you, it's not going to help. It's just going to mean that nobody can wake you up and nobody can help you. So just consider that. Uh, I think the biggest thing with Westerners these days is people who are taking DMT and stuff like that and think that we've mastered. It's just an experience you can mimic with drugs, and I've already mastered it because I did 5-MeO. Um, that's just not true because, and it's the scientific proof is there because everybody who does those things has almost the exact same experience, like to a T, especially people that are doing DMT, um, from what I've heard. And when you die, because I've died 8 times, everybody has a different experience. My experience was the same every time, but that'll be in the other video. But everybody has a different experience, and that is, from where I sit, that is perfect proof that taking DMT and 5-MeO is not the same as dying. And the proof is in the experiences. So, and if you need to believe that to go through life and believe you're ready for death, and that's fine, but that's dangerous. I'm coming at you from a Tibetan Buddhist background where people spend their entire lives. They don't spend their entire lives getting ready for death. They celebrate life while they get ready to celebrate death, and they study one while they do the other. Is a better way to kind of explain it. So that's the kind of the background coming at you with this. Um, Now I'll approach like the people that are more like super straight edge minded that are like that doesn't apply to me. None of this applies to me. Well, and this is also because I have a friend who's like that I'm worried about. When somebody's dying, anyone who's been around somebody dying will tell you this. When it gets down to the last day to couple weeks, there's a moment where that person or you will freak out and like it's hard to explain. I saw it with my grandparents and I've heard about it from other people. You just they wake up, they start freaking out, talking about things that don't make any sense. None of it's happening. They can't recognize you. You're like, hey, I'm right here. They will look clear through you. They're still, my grandfather was in a submarine being tempted by temptresses to cheat on his wife. Um, and it was like horrific. And then he passed like 2 weeks later. And I've seen it again other times. And this actually leads into one of my regrets where when it happened to my grandmother, I wasn't there. When it happened to my grandfather, I had slept in the hospital room that night. And when it happened to my grandmother, I didn't sleep in the hospital room that night. And I'm also telling you this so you don't have that regret. I mean, it was what it was. Things happened the way they did, but it's just nice to be there, even if they don't know you're there for that horrible, horrible moment, because they're there for like so many, for a nightmare of yours or something. You owe them one, at least, if not more. So, and whatever happened the time that it happened to my grandmother, they told me about it at the hospital when I came in the next day, and I was aware these things happened. But whatever happened that night had them all so horrified. They didn't talk about the actual experience. They were just like, they were, I mean, these are trained, hardened, seasoned medical professionals walking around with this like dead in their eyes, look in their face, like, yeah, it was bad. We couldn't do anything. Like, and she wasn't dead. All they did was get her back sedated and put her on her feeding tube. So like whatever they experienced in that normal part of their day with her, whatever she said to them was so atrocious that they were like obviously scarred from it. So I wish I would have been there to be able to support her in that moment. But these things happen, and the reason I'm mentioning this, she was a lifetime sober person. She would have a drink here and there, but nothing. She never did anything like that to excess. I mean, she'd have a half of a, cocktail and be tipsy or something like that. But, you know, um, yeah. And I see people go through life who think that they're going to be able to handle something like that as they dodge every, discomfort and stressor that it possibly exists. And that is coming for all of you, sober or not. That moment is coming for all of you. And you may think you're the one who's going to supersede it. I mean, my grandmother was no slacker when it came to those things. I mean, she talked about leaving her body and outer body experience when she got pregnant like it was nothing. So whatever happened there was a little more intense than that. And she didn't, the way it seemed to them, she didn't handle it well. But anyway, this happens to everybody, right? So if you think you're going to soberly go into your death, when that happens to you, if they can't get you to calm down in one of those states, they're going to drug you down. And if they can't keep you calm, they're gonna induce a coma. They can't have somebody freaking out like that on the floor. So if every time you wake out you're freaking out in some other state or experience, they're gonna have to keep you calm to keep the tear calm. And then eventually your family, if they see it, will probably families don't handle this stuff well, man. Like most families, they're gonna have you comatose or put down because they can't handle watching you have just a normal human experience. So that's why we're here. Not many people, you're going to get one shot at that whole death thing. I'm not saying you got to do it right. I'm not saying you got to waste your life studying it for it. Just think a little bit. Think about these things. Maybe do a little bit of meditation. Get your mind right. Learn how to hone in your thoughts. Um, Maybe look into some of the things I was talking about and how that some of the other cultures have learned how to, sidestep these things or deal with these things. Because I don't even know you, and I don't want you to have this horrible moment where you're drugged out and stuck in your unconsciousness for your last moments. I do know that your mind can dilate time pretty severely. So, I mean, God forbid you're stuck in this hour that lasts a lifetime of hell that you can't get out of because you're drugged down. So, I mean, I highly encourage everyone to die sober. I am going to try to die. And when I say sober, I mean like without any influences or assistance from chemicals numbing your mind. Like, I am going to try to die all natural sober. It's what I've been training for. So, hopefully I can cut it. But if you're thinking you're going to die sober, the buddy I said I'm making this for that I'm worried about, he thinks he's going to die sober, no drugs, not drugged out, but he doesn't handle stress well. He can't handle going on a date without so much stress that it destroys his mind. He can't handle getting on an airplane without so much stress that it destroys his mind. But he's convinced himself that he's going to leave his body without a drop of stress and it's not going to bother him and he's not going to need to be drugged out. And that's not realistic. It's not realistic. You're being insane. You need to do work. Um, so yeah, so on the Western note, that's all I got, guys. If you think it's going to be some easy I'm worm food walk away thing, didn't work for other people. It's not going to work for you. I'm not saying just whatever that thing is that people have when they freak out subconsciously had nothing to do. My grandmother and grandfather did not decide that they were going to freak out one last moment before they died. And I have heard of it happening. I don't know how common it is, but I know it's common enough that I've heard about it from other people. So there's that. And then for the other Westerners, the DMT Westerners, come on, guys, the scientific proof's there. Y'all have the same experience. People who die don't. Do the math. It's not, it's 1+1 stuff. This isn't exactly, trigger calculus. All right. See if I'm missing anything. Yeah. So just, on a party note, if you got someone in a hospital dying and they're on their way out, it's their last night, maybe have a night there just to, keep them feel comforted when they wake up in that last moment and they can see that somebody still there cares that they're on their way out and wants it to be smooth and yeah, did the hard thing. It is kind of rough sleeping in hospital furniture in those rooms, but if I was dying, I'd want to see somebody I cared about when I woke up, every day, if not just once in a while. So think about that, even if it's just for them. And this will help you in your consciousness, man. If you can avoid, you see, I got a little bit of regret not being there the night my grandmother had her extreme experience when she was dying. Avoid these regrets. And then make sure you don't have any regrets on your deathbed. If you want to plan to be drugged down, that's fine, but be aware of these things and maybe work on some meditations in case you do get stuck somewhere in your mind in your last moments. If you believe those are your last moments, I don't want to take that from you, but be prepared to enjoy those last moments, not be running for your life within your own mind. That sounds like actual hell. Depending on how long it lasts or how long it could last, but either way, that sounds like a definitive hell. Uh, so all right, so we covered the center people and the DMT people, and I think that's it. Yeah. So again, appreciate every day. Don't focus every day on death, but you need to know these things so that when you're dying, at least you can have some type of preparation. Take more than 5 seconds to prepare for your death and to enjoy your last moments. It doesn't have to be like prepare for your death, dong. Enjoy it and take everything in, like really, really pay attention. And I will tell you this, even though this is not an Eastern video, one of the best lessons I've learned about these things comes from Buddhism. Buddhism can be summed up in 2 words: pay attention. So when you're dying, just pay very close attention. Every experience, just take it all in. It's the last things that you're going to learn in that body ever. All right. Sorry. So I hope this didn't put you off. I hope this was informative. And again, I don't want you guys to feel down, gloom and doom. We're all doing this thing together. We're all gonna die. It's the one thing that really unifies us all, hands down, no matter where you come from, what you do. So yeah. So enjoy life and be ready to enjoy death. All right. So thanks for stopping by. Peace and blessings.